So how have you been?
Good. Actually, it's been a very strange thing to have I felt like I was being whispered to by spirit. I don't want to get too woo-woo with you. That when COVID hit, that not only was I and was my company going to be okay, we were actually going to grow and thrive in the environment as long as we were very careful and very heart-based, which we already were. And just to keep doing what we were doing, but doing it differently has really changed everything for the business. It doesn't mean we're making more money. We actually made less money this past year, but we believe that in the retooling and the revising of how we approach what we do, we're actually going to have a very good year this year. We didn't lose any employees. We didn't lose any clients. We went from teaching classes in person to more teaching virtually. We also started a nonprofit so that we can help more people through our incubator. I know you know that we have an incubator where we helped launch King of Pops and Little Tart Bakery and Old Fourth Ward Pizza. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but there are so many people who cannot afford to be in a kitchen at all to start their food business. So we started a nonprofit back in March of this past year, and we have built a new, much larger kitchen in Hapeville near the airport. Mm-hmm. And we're getting ready to do it on a sliding scale so that if you can afford this, then this is how much it'll cost. We're going to get company sponsors to actually help subsidize the hours people will be in the kitchen, and we're going to mentor them to success.
My name is Paul Luna, and you're tuned into F&B Lunacy. I am here today with Jake Ice Cream founder, Jake Rothschild. Tell us about yourself. There's something in the burner.
So we started Jake's Ice Cream 22 years ago. We'll celebrate our 22nd anniversary in May. And to imagine that this company has lasted as long as it has and has created over 200 flavors and fed thousands and thousands of people one of their favorite desserts is mind-blowing to me. Once the ice cream business was off the ground, we started an incubator and we started helping other food businesses grow. And some of them are national names now. So we do that. And then we started a cooking school back in 2013. And the cooking school is now ranked in the top 2 cooking schools in Atlanta.
Let's talk about the names of your ice cream, like the chocolate slap your mama.
Yes. So this is a fun story, and I do love to tell it. It never gets old for me. So we hired high school students to help us make our ice cream when we first got started. And this young lady was from Paideia, which is a wonderful private school here in Atlanta. And I was meeting with my attorney about some incorporation paperwork, and he's from New Orleans. And out of the kitchen, this young lady bursts in tears. She has just messed up an ice cream that she was making for us. And she presents it to me and she says, "I'm very sorry. I saw one recipe and then I saw the recipe below and somehow I blended the two. And I'm totally messed up the recipe, but Jake, this is pretty good. Would you at least try it before you fire me?" And I said, "I'm not going to fire you. It's just ice cream." And so I tasted it, and then I had Jeff taste it, and he says, "Jake, this ice cream is so good, it'll make you want to slap your mama and cuss your preacher." And I said, "Oh, we have to call it that." And he says, "Oh, no, you can't call it that." And I said, "Yes, we can." And we did. And so the chocolate slap your mama is our #1 selling ice cream. The story that attaches to that, several years later, a group of women in Decatur were very upset by this name of this ice cream, thinking somehow perversely we were advocating violence towards women. And they announced on the internet that I refused to meet with them to discuss changing the name. I'd never heard of them. I'd never heard from them, but they put this out there to get my attention. So we met and we said, we'll try an experiment. And in Decatur, for one store, we'll call it Chocolate Slap Happy. And it didn't really take very well, and it wasn't a very big success. And then maybe 3 months later, 2 women, 2 totally separate women, come into the main ice cream parlor, very drunk, and they were screaming, "Sell out, sell out." And I said, what are you guys talking about? And they said, sometimes mama wants a good slapping. And I was like, oh my God. And from then on, it was no more chocolate slap happy. We had to keep chocolate slap your mama. Never a dull moment in ice cream land.
But you have lots of different names. Do you
Yes.
sit around to come up with names?
Sometimes the customer will come to me with a flavor idea and they'll have the name, but oftentimes it's divinely inspired. Like we had a nurse, a male nurse from the oncology floor at Scottish Rite, and he came in one day to study, and he said, Jake, I had the strangest dream last night about Elvis and peanut butter and banana sandwiches, and something tells me I was supposed to tell you about it. I have no idea why. And I said, because we're going to be making Nutter Nanner Elvis ice cream. And he went, oh, okay. It just kind of blurted out, and that's the way these things happen.
I've heard this before. I don't know if it's true or not. Are ice cream sales higher in the winter than in summer?
Yes, we learned that from reading Ben and Jerry's biography. When they first put out their book, they said people are willing to take on more fat in the wintertime because they're wearing sweaters and coats and no one can see, and they need more comfort in the wintertime than they do in the summertime. So you'll have bigger sales in the wintertime, and it's true.
You offer dairy-free and vegan selection.
Yes, that was very important to us. So when we were open maybe 2 years, people started coming in very emotional, saying, we've heard how good your ice cream is, but my child can't eat it, or I can't eat it, whoever it might be. And I would ask them to sit with me and tell me what was going on, because I was very interested in the dietary, nutritional, and digestive concerns that people have about eating ice cream. I had an understanding of that before I even started the company, knowing that a lot of people are lactose intolerant. And I heard everything from diabetes being an issue, to being vegan, to being very sensitive to the dairy. And we started working on creating a product that would be plant-based. We were calling it vegan then. And we started off with soy milk, and we were working with rice milk, and we worked with almond milk. And those are both very watery, and they don't have a lot of crema or cream in them. And there's really no way to mimic that from those two products. And so the soy thing was clicking along fairly well. It didn't do very well with plain flavors like vanilla. The vanilla and the soy did not come out with the way we wanted it to. And I'm a vanilla fanatic. And in COVID, once again, we started making oat milk ice cream. And it is, to me, taste-wise and texture-wise, better than dairy. And because we can get gluten-free oats, and we can make our own milk from it, we can actually determine how creamy the product is. And I actually have fallen madly in love with our HAUTE milk ice cream. We call it oat milk.
Jake, did you always love ice cream growing up as a kid, or
yes,
what
inspired? we made it at home. We made it from scratch at home. And there was this giant fig tree on our patio, and we would pluck the figs and cut them up and soak them in honey and then add them to the ice cream. And I loved it. And it was just a very special time for our family. And I was hand cranking the churn, and I absolutely fell in love with it. But my father also, who's a dear, sweet, best friend of mine, would take me and my brother and sister from time to time to Howard Johnson's, which was a very famous hotel chain, a motel chain. And my favorite flavor was the peppermint stick. So we have a flavor, an homage to Howard Johnson's, called Oh Howard. And that's one of my favorite flavors. So yes, I've always loved it.
You know, it's amazing, I think, that we do things in life that either recalls something that we enjoy
from childhood.
Yeah. And it's almost like there really was no choice for you but to do this.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing is that I was working for a newspaper when I was in college, and I was writing feature stories, and my editor was a very sour, angry, bitter woman whose husband had left him. And she was like many of the other people working there. They were either alcoholic or divorced or both. And when she asked me what I really wanted to do with my life, because I clearly was not committed to this newspaper. I wasn't having fun, to be perfectly honest. I said, well, I really want to be Willy Wonka. And she said, that's ridiculous. And I said, perfect. She said, what do you mean? I said, the fact that you think it's ridiculous validates for me. That's the right path for me. And that's the path I jumped on. Because I did not like her, and I did not like the environment. I didn't like the fact that I was supposed to find dirt on people that I was writing about. I was supposed to be this bitter, sour person like them. And I was like, no. I saw this movie with Gene Wilder. I know he's the right way to go. And that's what I've been trying to do ever since.
Who enjoys the ice cream more? The kids or the parents?
I'm going to tell you, I think it's the parents. I really do. The parents find it to be very nostalgic and very comforting. And kids like all kinds of treats. So I don't think ice cream is necessarily their obsession. But parents remember ice cream in a very different way. And whether it's a milkshake or an ice cream sundae or a scoop, people have a very emotional reaction to ice cream. Children like it fine. I don't think that they like it that much less, but I definitely think it's the parents.
Is there a secret recipe for Jake's ice cream?
Well, interestingly, I don't know how secret it is anymore because we've had so many people making it with us. And we actually had an employee who was planted by a competitor to steal all of our recipes years ago. And it was a nightmare, terrible thing. I couldn't believe anybody would do such a terrible thing, but it happened. And so I don't think it's that secretive. And we do teach our ice cream classes so that people can use the machinery that they have at home to make ice cream. So we're not really trying to keep it all a secret. The sauces that we make, the inclusions, those are secret. We would have to probably go Swiss on somebody if they try to mess with that.
Fill in the blank. Ice cream is?
Joy. Just joy.
Today, what drives you to?
First of all, when I was telling you that you seem to have found your bliss, I know that I have found mine. I absolutely love what I get to do every day. There is never 2 days that are the same. So I would say that it is probably that I have found joy and happiness while I'm still young enough to appreciate it. I'm not so young. I just turned 58, but I'm not 80, realizing that I'm now getting into the prime of my life. I'm actually young enough still to enjoy that I get to play and do the things that I love to do and help other people in the process. I do it every day.
Jake, would you consider yourself a lunatic?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no other way to describe me. I mean, I aspire to be the lunatic that you are, but yes, of course, because I dare to do things that I was told were ridiculous. You know, I've been told all of my life, oh, no, you can't do that. You'll starve. This isn't going to work. Why would you bother? Get a job working as a doctor or a lawyer, all that sort of thing. And none of that fit for me. I knew that I had to go rogue. And that's what I've done my entire life. And I have no regrets whatsoever. Yes, I am a lunatic. You can quote me on that. And you have my legal permission. I should be so lucky to be a lunatic. That's if you ever were to have a group of groupies, they would all need to be lunatics.